John Fitzgerald Kennedy, one-time President of the United States of America, is credited with this quote: "If we cannot now end our differences, at least we can help make the world safe for diversity." This wonderful quote brings to bear the respect that is needed for the progress of humanity in a world replete with differences. Today, on the MTN Heroes of Change, we meet a woman who's ensuring that children who are born with autism in our society are given the respect and care they deserve. She is part of 10 heroes we are celebrating this season for the amazing work they are doing in their communities. One of these people will receive 100,000 cedis in support of their project. After the break, we'll go into our stories for tonight.
MTN Mobile Money, you can take your bank with you everywhere you go. Dial *170# and follow the prompts. Connect your bank account to your mobile money wallet to load and transfer money between your wallet and your bank account. Take your bank with you everywhere you go with MTN Mobile Money.
What else you take away? No.
Experience the new world of better money.
In our feature MTN Foundation documentary for today, we focus on the work of the foundation in the field of education. We look at how the foundation's support for innovative technology is giving hope to people dreaming of making it in the tech space.
Wherever you go in Ghana, there's an MTN Ghana Foundation Project making a difference in the lives of the people. Here is one such story.
Growing up in quite deprived areas, in the areas of Newtown, Kutubabi, fending for oneself was a difficulty. But I was looking for ways by which I can be able to do better for myself and also for my family. I decided to venture into IT when I came in contact with somebody who taught me how to use computers. I started the business from my father's single room with a friend. And we were just we didn't even have call cards. So we write our numbers on papers, go to events and try and find people, convince them that we can deliver the best of IT service that will push their businesses.
Really, the love started when I was in college. I was a computer science student. And I was really fascinated about how, computers work, and the fact that computers could be used to do amazing things like design machines. And for me, the love for seeing hardware and software, interfacing, talking together, it makes the whole experience unique, and that really inspired me to get into that field.
The Ghana Multimedia Incubator Center is the innovation unit of NITA. We develop young people's dreams, ICT dreams, and actually concepts and ideas that are quite innovative, that are worth supporting to develop into businesses, viable businesses. We actually train young people and develop them into entrepreneurs and build businesses out of their ideas and concepts. There was a need for us to go out there and then look for private support. However, we realized that MTN Foundation has part of their foundation, some of the projects they support, we know that they have something for economic empowerment. And so we came into partnership with them. They decided that they were going to support this incubator. That is how come we have MTN came to support us.
As time progressed, I developed the passion to use these technologies I had acquired to help businesses. And that led to the birth of a company called Oduro 360. As we started Oduro 360, we were a little challenged because as a startup, you need to raise a lot of capital to set up your office, to do your marketing, put out your services out, to be able to get customers and bring returns. And we were incapacitated. And so we came into contact with the Ghana Multimedia Incubator Center under the Ministry of Communication.
I joined the incubator program essentially at a point where I was looking at how to scale up this project to benefit a lot of people, and so I came into the Ghana Multimedia Incubator Center. The program really seeks to introduce children to computational thinking skill. Of course, that is very crucial when it comes to designing such skills. So we want the children to have the expertise. We want them to have the exposure early enough. We're looking at a future where people can actually have robots as part of their daily lives, and so we are actually embarking on a number of activities and projects and other designs, products that we are designing behind the scenes.
I started learning robotics at 6 years old. I learned how to program LEDs on the breadboard. I also learned how to attach a buzzer to a breadboard to make different sounds.
Robots are like human beings, but not really human beings. That's make your work easier.
We are looking at an instance where robots will become more like our aides, make us more productive, and that is exactly the kind of future we envisage.
My advice to young people who want to start a business in the IT space is that do not fret, do not let your dreams scare you. Once you've been able to dream it, it means you can achieve it. What you have to do is take the bold step of beginning.
So I'd like to use this opportunity to thank MTN Foundation. I just want to say a big thank you for what they are doing for Ghana, and then what they have particularly done for the Ghana Multimedia Incubator Center. We are very, very grateful.
Over the past decade, the MTN Ghana Foundation has led the way in corporate social investments in Ghana by impacting the lives of over 4 million people in the areas of education, health, and economic empowerment across the country. The MTN Ghana Foundation has spent about $13 million on over 142 various social development initiatives, brightening lives and making a difference.
The MTN Heroes of Change Special Awards is an initiative that focuses on the people in positions of influence and power who use these to make communities better. We are honoring the work of journalists, media personnel, musicians, actors, actresses who have used their fame to improve society. Today, we look at a young man whose work involved a great need at the Okomfanochi Teaching Hospital in Kumasi. I present Seth Kwame Boateng.
My name is Seth Kwame Boateng. I'm an assistant editor here at the multimedia group Joy News. The documentary I produced was the one on Okomfanochi Teaching Hospital, Next to Die. In that documentary, I highlighted the needless deaths of mothers and babies in that hospital, where on the average, about 100 mothers were dying anytime they went there to deliver. And we were having about 4 babies die every day at that hospital due to congestion. I had known about the problem way back in 2014. I thought it was a simple thing which could be solved within days. But when I started the interviews, when I was taken to the wards, when I was taken around the wards and I saw the congestion, I saw how babies, about 4 or 5 babies, were sharing incubators, were sharing cots. I was shocked. The building which was being built to ease the congestion had been under construction for 44 years. I remember one weekend, I got a number of calls from some people there. Some doctors called to insult me. I didn't care. Even some ministers were not happy with the documentary. I didn't care. So we went ahead and screened the documentary right at Okomfanochi. After the documentary, I thought of people I could contact to let them know how urgent the situation was, so they could use their influence to convince government to, as it were, release funds for us to complete that building or start another project. And we made them know the urgency. and why they needed to fast track everything they could do to help us save more lives, because we thought of raising funds and it was successful. We got people from outside Ghana who even donated. Within 6 months, we were able to put up an ultra-modern mother and baby unit plus maternity center for the Konfenochi Teaching Hospital, and it's not going to benefit only people in Ashanti region. You know, Konfenochi serves about 8 other regions, so it's going to benefit Ghanaians largely. So it makes me feel very excited, fulfilled, and it makes me appreciate our work as journalists. And it has also highlighted how powerful we are and how we can use our platforms to trigger change, positive change. And that is exactly what we've done. MTN Heroes of Change is a fantastic idea, letting people feel appreciated, letting people feel that society is really looking up to them. Society appreciates what they are doing. I was so excited when Mrs. Joanna Debe was nominated because I followed her project where she gathers children who are out of school and help them learn how to read and write. I can also talk of Dr. Michael Oduro Soa in Ashanti region, a doctor abandoning what he is supposed to be doing every day. You know, relegating that to the background, rather going to the villages, helping people. You don't have to start big. Start with the little you have. And don't look at others. Yeah, they may have all the resources, but where you are, the small corner, you start something small from there. You have no idea the number of lives you can impact. I am doing my bit by highlighting the issues of the underprivileged, the deprived, and helping get results for them. What are you also doing to affect lives and help society?
Discrimination comes in many forms. Some are based on race, skin, color, country origin. Other people are also discriminated against simply because of the health conditions they were born with. In Ghana, many children suffer shame and abuse because they were born with autism. Some are left to die. Others are lucky to live or suffer abuse in various forms for most of their lives. We meet Sewa Kweno, an inspiring woman right here in Accra, who is using her Autism Awareness Center to not only care for those with a disability, but also educate everybody about autism.
I found out about the Autism Center in 2010 after I encountered some of the staff in a training program. And so seeing some of the staff and, you know, just hearing them and talk about their experiences made me want to come visit the center. And so I encountered Auntie Sewa a couple of months later after I had left, I'd finished the volunteering. Somehow we just got along. Whichever field you're coming from, she has this interesting way of getting you to think about how your field can be used to better the lives of persons with autism, which for me has really enhanced the scope of my work. I believe that the Autism Awareness Care and Training Center needs to be recognized as a hero of change because ACT has been a haven for many families and children with autism in the last 20 years. Additionally, it has pioneered autism awareness nationwide in the last 20 years of its existence, giving also hope to parents and their families and communities with regards to the participation and total inclusion of persons with autism in Ghana.
When Adum was 1, we sent him to a daycare. And after a while, they were concerned about the fact that he wasn't interacting with any of the children. But by 3, we were concerned, so we had him assessed by a pediatrician. that was when we got the diagnosis of autism.
Growing up, typical routines, you take your kid to the pediatrician. And so one fine day, he's not been very well over the weekend. So we take him to the pediatrician and said, we're worried that he doesn't seem to be very attentive these days. And he's also putting up some behaviors. So having observed these things, he sat by himself about 2 minutes and said, the question of autism crosses my mind.
At 15 months of age, I realized that, my son should be, cooing, making sounds and words or something. 18 months, I wasn't happy. So I booked a doctor's appointment at a specialist hospital. In the doctor's office, I felt like I had been given a death sentence because the doctor opened his mouth and said to me, I shouldn't expect much from my son. And then the psychologist who they gave me to talk to didn't even give me hope. It's very painful. It was very painful at that time. For me, I had to relearn because this is somebody that I carried for 9 months. This is somebody when I brought into the world was beautiful. So then I take him to a nursery school, they call me, come and take your child. Here's a Ghanaian who you're in America, you have to make some small dollar to send home. I couldn't work. I think my husband was in Ghana. I refused to come to Ghana. We had visited and then people would turn and look at you, they're talking about you, saying all kinds of things, even calling you a witch. 10 years away from my husband.
Once I was in a mall and he was happy and he was behaving in a certain way. Somebody walked up to me and asked me, Obano or Papa?
I didn't start out to do the center. It's like, a few people, maybe if we could all get together with our children and do this. And we had all come from abroad at that time. So a lot of people in Ghana would say, this is what people, I'm like, wait a minute, autism is here. It was in a small room like my office here. Kudos to my husband, who said, it looks like this thing has to be done. So we had to get our savings together to rent this house.
To tell you the truth, I wouldn't know what to do if this place were not in Accra. We have found everything to enable him to pick up his own learning path. They are teaching him to write, they're teaching him to speak, operating a very structured curriculum.
What we charge them now, we should be charging them 5 or 6 times more of that. But who can afford to come? Because the child whose mother, Sekenke seller, once they can come to the center, it behooves us to train them. This is my pact with God. So there are many children here also who are on scholarships.
There's a lot they do. They teach independent living skills and then they do parent training so that you know how to manage living with your child so that it's not so stressful for both the carer and the child.
You see, the place is small. We have a limited amount of children that we can take. We can only take the most is 30. In a brochure, this place will be about 6 times or more bigger because we have them. And this is what we're looking for. Not just for the center, but everywhere there's a child with autism, they deserve to have the best.
What I'll say is that Mrs. Queno has given parents of children with autism hope. And gradually, children with autism are being accepted.
Rise up this morning, smiled with the rising sun. 3 little birds pitched by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
How you use your data is up to you.
About a thing.
With the best internet speeds, it's amazing what you can do on MTN.
My message to you.
Hi, my name is Yvonne Okoro. I'm an actress, entrepreneur, and a philanthropist, and the founder of Elizabethan Charitable Homes. The MTN Heroes of Change is about identifying people all across Ghana who have touched lives daily. When I saw Joseph Asakibi's story and how much he's helped these women who have babies like these or these children, I was deeply moved by his story. And also there's the Reverend Jehuapia, who has is it a charitable home for these kids and the handicapped. And I saw one kid who had just passed his BCE. To be able to raise such children who look at the world and say that, you know what, I may not look like everybody else, but I'm going to accept me for me and be a better person and go to school. That's amazing. That's an amazing thing. So for me, I always say that don't wait. Don't think that you need 100 million, 500,000. The smallest thing you can do, you can be passing by the road side and you can see somebody who needs help, who's struggling. Reach out. What are you doing sitting at home? Get up and help somebody. Get up and make somebody's life better.
We've come to the end of another episode of the MTN Heroes of Change. We hope today's stories have given you hope in the future of humanity and moved you to make a positive difference in your society. You can interact with us on our social media handles displayed on your screens. Tell us how these stories inspire you. Next week, we'll look at the story of Prince Oduro Williams, who is making a difference in the lives of people in the remotest parts of Ghana through the Doctors in the Gap.